Rufford Ford is still closed. Yes, over 2 years on and the barriers are still here, the road is still unpassable and nothing has changed, and there's not much sign of change anytime soon. So, I thought I'd look back at some of the clips that I filmed here and see which percentage of the cars that died whilst going through the Ford have survived. Most of the deaths were caused by waterlogged engines, which is when water gets through the air filter and engines try to compress water rather than air, and that snaps rods, bends stuff, and requires an entire engine rebuild, to put it very simply. So which of these cars have had their engines rebuilt and are back on the road, and what percentage of them are dead and gone forever? So we'll start from the beginning and work chronologically. It's a very good place to start. So we'll begin with the first fail that I filmed and then get through all the other ones I did. There's quite a list, so let's get started with a transit van. Now, I think I said here...
seem to do quite well.
Yeah, transit vans seem to do quite well. This is obviously the first fail I'd filmed, so I was basing that on prior knowledge. So, he goes through the Ford.
His method was different from the other transits we saw earlier, but it succeeded. Oh, has he succeeded?
Yeah, there's a bit of white smoke emitting. For this test, I'll be using car vertical to work out which cars have failed and which ones have been put back onto the road. So obviously, if it hasn't had an MOT in the last year or two, then it hasn't been put back on the road. You can get 20% off your car vertical report, by the way, if you use my discount code of ADAMC. 20% code. They've sponsored this video, so the link is down in the video's description. So just load in the report. Car vertical checks throughout numerous databases to find out any hidden details about a car's past. So when you're buying a car, you can use this. If you've already got a car and you're not that sure about, you can find out if it's been stolen, maybe any mileage discrepancies, MOT histories, finance against it, any accidents it's been in as well. So it all looks good, other than obviously it's had quite a few owners. So this vehicle, if I just scroll down to the MOT history, you can see the mileage. I filmed these videos in October 2022, and you can see it had an MOT in April of 2023, and it was fine, and then the ownership changed after that. So transit was fixed and put back on the road. Either that or it didn't fail at all. Maybe it just had a bit of a hiccup, but it definitely looked bad. Our next fail comes from a Ford Focus. Let's see how deep he went.
Oh, that's deep.
Yeah, that went over the bonnet. You can often tell when it goes through the grille of the car, that's when it gets through the air filter and into the engine, that's when it starts compressing. So I don't think...
No.
Yeah.
That's dead. Or dying.
See, that is a clue of it dying, the white smoke from the exhaust. Let's put the number plate into car vertical. Oh, the MOT expires soon, but it's got an MOT, so this Focus has been put back on the road. Either that or it didn't break too substantially. It was repaired. Let's go on to the next fail. This Vauxhall Astra... Again, the common theme is you go in too quick, and then the water goes over the bonnet.
Didn't sound healthy.
It did not. Yeah, you can see the car's struggling, and then the white smoke. Is that a thumbs up? Yeah, it's still driving, so it still gets down the road. Right, let's see if that car did actually fail, because it is still driving, so it's not horrendous. Whilst we're loading the car vertical check, just want to point out there's merch in the video's description. You can get it ready for Adam C Fest. Want to see like a sea of white chaser merchandise. There's other t-shirts and hoodies available too. Oh, it's got a bit of finance. Oh, this vehicle has been marked as scrap. It's been scrapped, and I bet that was before the MOT of 2023. Let's have a look. It did fail in 2022 before it went through, then it was passed, and then it was scrapped in May 2023. So I filmed this in October, and the MOT was probably due in May, and they scrapped it then. So that's your first completely dead and gone car from Rufford Ford, and I'm sure it will be one of many. Our next car is...
Diesel Renault Megane.
A diesel Renault Megane. So it took it slowly initially, and then it went a bit quicker. It wasn't the most horrendous one, but...
Oh, that was a stall.
Yeah. I think that one struggled. Right, let's see. What actually happened to this afterwards? Did they get it started? Ah, no, it seems...
Pushing the Megane out the way.
It was pushed out the way. However...
Oh, they've got it running, I think. Have they?
In a later clip, they managed to get it started, so maybe this one survived. And according to Car Vertical, the MOT has expired, so it might be dead, but the MOT expired in 2024, which means it passed an MOT the year after this happens, which means Rufford Ford either didn't kill it straight away and waited a year or so for gremlins to occur, or genuinely they got it sorted and it just since hasn't been MOT'd and it might be dead anyway. So let's move on to the next car, a Nissan Terrano. Now, all I've got here...
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Is it trying to start? So I went to the toilet and missed it go through, but there is this phone footage here of it going through, so you can see how fast it went through. Fast approach, big splash. Ooh, that sounds like the sound of a snapped rod. So let's see what Car Vertical has to say about this Nissan Terrano. Well, we've seen this before. This is going to say marked to scrap, isn't it? This vehicle has been marked as scrap. Let's go down to the MOT history and see when it was done. Oh, wow. The ownership was changed in November of 2022. So this car was destroyed, and then the next month swapped hands, and then they eventually scrapped it because they couldn't pass an MOT. It was ruined. So that's gone in the bin. If I skip forward a little bit, you can see
just in time for the wedding photography.
he ruined someone's wedding with it, but did manage to drive away.
Out between his legs. There we go. Solved.
Next up we have
Oh dear.
a big splash from
Oh dear. It's
someone's mum in the Ford Galaxy, and oh, she kept it going, but we can tell here, look, all the people that go there, they know when a car's going to die. Number plate goes into Car Vertical. Let's take a goddamn... Oh, look at that. Financial and legal status. This vehicle has been marked as scrap. This is an ongoing theme, so quite a lot of the cars do genuinely die, and they stay dead. So let's see. It's going to be 2022 will be the last MOT. So May 2022. It was it had a lot that needed doing anyway, and then it was scrapped in July of 2023. Our next car is a Volkswagen Golf R32. So this was quite a well-known one.
Golf.
So it goes through initially slowly, bit of a big splash, and then it rides the wave. So
Oh no.
yeah, that stutter there. So he gives it a go.
He won't start at all.
And then-
Not even. Oh.
That's the sound. A lot of the people that frequented Rufford Ford were on hand to help out and tell people not to start cars if you can get there in time, and then also tow the cars out. So this R32 was towed out by a Transit. Now I don't think this is going to have been scrapped. I reckon they'll have maybe rebuilt the engine for VR6, so let's have a look. Ooh, it's looking good! And the mileage has been steadily used since 2020, and it's still got an MOT, so they've managed to save the Golf. Congratulations to them, and rejoice to the car world. And my next car comes from my second visit at Rufford Ford. Yes, all of that was from just one visit, and I made 2 videos out of that one day. This is the second day of filming, and as I was recording this Starlet, suddenly
Oh my god.
a Corsa comes into view with water on its
Nailed it and
bonnet.
hopefully not died.
Yeah, this was a particularly deep day here.
I mean, that's a telltale sign to maybe not do it in the Starlet.
Yeah, the Starlet wasn't going to have a go, and it broke down in the water. This was the first I'd seen that happen, and
Oh no.
yeah, he had to get
dear.
out into the water to try and push the car out. And originally no one was helping him, but I think later on they did. And I don't think he listened to our advice, because
No, that didn't sound healthy.
yeah, he tried to start it. Oh, its MOT's valid till July 2025. So whilst he tried to start it, and maybe that did some damage, it's been repaired / rebuilt. So well done to the mighty Corsa. Ah, this was a thumbnail.
After that,
Yeah,
the Audi's made a bit of a splash.
businessman in his Audi.
Don't say it's died already. No, it's just
Almost looks like it was floating there.
that's a dead car, I think.
Yeah, it dies right in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then as he gets out, a bit of his car floats.
What is that?
A bit of his car floats from underneath him. And then he has to climb out through the driver's window. And then this Jeep turns up
Jeep is going to slowly turn.
and tries to tow the Audi out, but the electric handbrake is still on, so it's being dragged at an angle. So I don't know if you know, but this is how Audis do in Tokyo. They had to tow him all the way up the road like that because the handbrake was jammed on. And then we just got this depressing scene of the Audi man using a water bottle to get the water out of his car. So let's see if that car was put back on the road. So Audi A5, probably the car with the best build quality of the bunch so far, and financial and legal status. This vehicle failed its most recent MOT. Yep. marked as scrap. Wow, it failed in October of 22. That must have been, this was filmed on the 22nd, so it was able to get through an MOT, and it still failed the MOT, and then that same month it was scrapped. Our next fail comes from a red Volkswagen Golf. Goes in a little bit deep, goes over the bonnet, and I think, is this a floater? Could this be a floater? No, it's still going. Its number plate fell off.
The number plate's gone.
It looks like a success, this one, but it's juddering a bit. It's struggling. Yeah, further down the road. The white smoke of death. So it didn't too bad. Let's see what's going on. Ooh, MOT valid till April this year. It managed to pass, so that was a survivor. I think immediately after was this Ford Fiesta here, going in very slowly and gently, and then speeding up,
That's a bit quick.
creating a wave.
Too quick. Oh,
Not drastically. Oh, it's a floater! And she looks horrified in the driver's seat there.
it is a floater.
Yeah, she doesn't know what's going on. So this car was actually pushed out by some absolute heroes. I didn't wear wellies that day, I remember that, I regretted it. I just had boots on that were leather and with the fur. And then the Fiesta was towed to safety by another local. So the Fiesta, oh, damage as well. There's a damage report. This vehicle has been marked as an insurance write-off due to unrepairable, some salvageable parts. So that is due to it being marked as a scrapped vehicle. And obviously that was in the latter part of 2022 that happened. So it was immediately scrapped as a result of this in January 2023. Now here's a Mitsubishi Outlander, quite a tall vehicle, so the confidence to go through at speeds, however it struggles towards the end and stalls.
That was an expensive bath.
Yeah, so the stall is a telltale sign of it trying to compress on water, and often the car will just stall before it tries, and then when you go to start it again, that's when you hear rods snapping. Ah, there you go, that's the sound he tried to start. Now this car is a bit of a trooper. It keeps almost starting, and it's just painful. You can see they're trying to drive it forwards as soon as possible. Oh, I think they were trying to start the car in gear, and still not. And then towed out by a Range Rover. So, I don't think this was a survivor. And on Car Vertical it says, financial and legal status needs attention. This vehicle has been marked as scrap. Let's see when that was done. Ooh! It was scrapped in 2024, so that car is gone, but it does look like the Green Laner type. It failed an MOT in 2024, but I think it passed one. Yeah, it passed an MOT in 2023, so it was put back onto the road, and then a year later it was like... Our next car is this Honda CR-V that I think comes in quite hot.
Oh dear.
You see the waves come from it, and then it just immediately stalls and even floats a little bit. The passenger looks horrified.
The passenger's horrified.
It's like I'm the same person there. Yeah, it's floating. Just see the smoke come from the bonnet. And then I don't think they could find a tow hook on the front of the car, so they had to go out and tow from the back, which could have been humorous. So, let's see what Car Vertical says. This MOT is expired. It expired in November of that month, so the MOT was due a month later and it didn't even go through. So that vehicle is dead, gone. Another failure from Rufford Ford. Now this is a Vauxhall Grand Land, trying to become a Grand Water and presumably failing at doing so. Made it through the other end though, and then came to a stop there. You can see a bit of smoke. Ah, yes, it stalled. Now I think this guy, yeah, we told him not to start it, but he kept, and then, yeah, horrible sound. And then he continues to attempt.
That is now, because he's just started with the air filter.
So, obviously he did a bit of damage trying to start it and start it again, but this car's just had an MOT recently. The MOT is due until next year, so it was repaired and put back on the road. So that is a survivor of Rufford Ford. Next we come to this Kia Ceed, a Ceed estate with a dog in the back.
We told them to go slowly.
Yeah, I remember this. We even said if you go slowly you'll be fine, and then it went slowly initially, and then it died.
We were telling them just go slowly and you'll be fine.
Yeah, so they didn't listen to the people. We are on hand to say what to do in that situation. And as a result, he has to get out of the car to find a tow hook in the boot with the dog in the way, in the water. Now, I don't think he could find a tow hook in the boot of the car, so they towed him from the engine. It works, but that was a unique thing. There's a bit of an incline, obviously, getting out of the Ford, and that's their way of towing him out. So let's see.
We couldn't find any towing eyes in the boot.
Yeah, there's no towing eyes in the front.
Put it onto the engine.
Let's see if the engine-towed Kia that died survived after all that. And no, MOT due. Oh wow! It didn't even reach its first MOT. The car, yeah, 2020. It was a 2-year-old car. Its first MOT, which is in the 3rd year, was due March of the following year, and it didn't reach that. It was scrapped before its first MOT due to Rufford Ford. Now, this is an interesting one. Apparently, this guy's a regular at just going through the Ford in any kind of car that he's got. Escort's GTI apparently goes through a little bit too briskly, but it's an old car, and it dies very, very suddenly. This was a fascinating one. Let me show you why. So the owner tries to push the car out himself. Then Ben, who is one of the OGs of the Rufford Ford filming scene, gets in the water to try and help him out. And watch his pocket. His phone falls out into the water. Look.
Oh, it's gone in the wellies now.
His phone falls into the water and he panics. And then obviously everyone was telling him, your phone. Reaches in, can't find it, looks for it, waits for the water to calm. Still can't find it. It's a black phone in a dark abyss of the Ford, and then suddenly, I think,
The Ranger coming as well.
he gets it!
Oh my god.
Now there's
It's a waterproof one as well.
But they couldn't push the car out, so they got another car to gently have an accident and push the Escort out with the dash bar. I think it's a Ford Ranger, isn't it? So that was something unique as well. We just couldn't believe what we were seeing, this Escort being pushed out, nudged out. So the owner takes the airbox out. He takes the spark plugs out as well. In the meantime, this Skoda Fabia comes through at great speed, makes a great splash, and then gets greatly stuck in the Ford as well. And whilst that's stuck, we can hear the Escort being started, I think, with one spark plug taken out. And that is a 3-cylinder Escort running on all 3 cylinders. So he must have worked out which bank had got the water in and started it. It's just outrageous. It's amazing. And then upon putting the 4th spark plug back in,
And it runs a dream.
it runs. It's very smoky, but
There's a slight exhaust blow there, you can see.
exhaust is blowing, but no knocking.
And it ticks over.
And it ticks over. I thank you, he says.
I would clap, but I've only got one hand.
And then there it goes, in the distance, driving away. So we've got 2 to do. The Escort seems like it might have been fixed. So let's do the Escort first, and then we'll do the Skoda later. Right, Escort, GTI. Oh, it survived. It was put back on the road. It was a very low value vehicle compared to some of the others, but obviously it was great. So it went through an MOT on January of the following year. So the Escort survived. Let's see if the Skoda Fabia was as lucky. Or maybe not. Oh, so the Skoda, the MOT expired last year. So it managed to get a year of driving. So maybe it was fixed, put back on the road, and then it went through another Ford and died then. I think we've only got one more car to go through. Let's see what we finish with. This is another Kia Ceed coming in at speed. It went over like a boat at such a speed. Now, I do remember this lady. She was a bit annoyed, obviously, that she'd gone through at 35 plus miles an hour. They tried pushing it out, but to no avail. Now, I think because she didn't try and start the car, she just pushed it out and then recovered it, I reckon it survived. And Car Vertical says it survived. The MOT is valid till next October this year. So there you have it. Let's work out the percentage of the fails and how many of them survived and how many of them died. So I've got my little book here. I filmed 18 fails in those just 2 days. I only went there for 2 days. The next day I went there were no fails. It was just a lot of splashes, and then the Rufford Ford was closed after that. I think I'll only count the cars that was scrapped immediately afterwards. If they went through another MOT, that means they were put back on the road. So the Ford didn't kill them, something else did. So 7 out of 18 of the cars were not put back onto the road. And because I'm lazy, I'm just going to use a percentage calculator. That is 38.888%. So 39% of the cars that failed going through Rufford Ford died throughout its period, on average, through the days that I went. So that's 9 cars written off as a result of the Ford. So you can see why it was closed, and you can see why it's still closed. Now, there's been rumour throughout all these years of it being closed that, the council are going to suggest this, they're going to suggest that, and it can only be closed for X amount of time, and that gets extended. But as you saw at the beginning of the video, nothing's been changed, and I don't know what the residents think. It's about 3 hours away from me, so I'm not on the forums. I really don't know what the future of Rufford Ford was. I'm glad I went there to witness everything that was going on, and thank you everyone for enjoying my Rufford Ford videos. I think it was the start of Adam Seafest 2022, on the run up to that was when the Rufford Ford videos were booming. I was like, oh my god, I can start my own show. So Adam Seafest this year is on the 5th of May, and there's tickets in the video description, as well as 20% off your car vertical reports if you want to check your own car, or if you're about to buy a car and you want to check it before you buy it, which I very, very, very much recommend you doing. And I think there's some merchandise sale links as well. Very different video to normal, but I hope you enjoyed it. But for now, thanks for watching.